Hey guys, so I'm going to be going over the submissions for the recent score challenge event. Let me go over the rules real quick just to refresh. The only SSRs allowed were Domain Megumi, SSR Momo, Blue Ghetto, and Teen Ghetto. Every other SSR was banned. And then you had to use a red unit to be the main score contributor. And these are the submissions, so let's get right into them. So first, I'll show you guys my submission. I haven't looked at any of yours yet, but this is the one that I did. Don't worry, that's not the score. Okay, so my setup was Domain Megumi with Sky is connected, Arasaki, and then she has this live a long life recollection because when she dies, she'll give everyone a 10% damage dealt buff. I have Pride on Yaga because he's able to stack it twice and his ult is full C-Tech. And then I have the new recollection on Nanami because this recollection is really good for hybrid damage deals. So yeah, it's a good choice to put on him. I think Adult Time also performed very similarly, so whichever one you had, they would both have been really good options. And then Nanami has this recollection, which is a pretty unique one. I think a lot of people don't know about it. Basically what it does is if your unit falls below 70% HP, then on that turn, your whole team, or for the next 4 turns, your whole team gets a 20% P-Tech and C-Tech increase buff. So if you time it right, you can have that buff active throughout the entire burst window, which is really nice. I don't think I showed my skills, but my skills were level 10 skill 1 on him, level 10 skill 2, level 8 ult, level 8 skill 3, and then level 9 skill 2, level 7 ult, and level 7 skill 3, and then level 9 skill 3 on him as well. So not completely maxed out because I didn't want to use any chaotic crystals on these two. But yeah, my Domain Megumi's maxed out, and then yeah, everything else is pretty high still. So going over my setup. Right now, I'm just making sure that Saki dies as fast as possible, while I also build Curse Energy on Domain Megumi, or Ult Gauge, sorry. I'm conserving Curse Energy on Nanami and Yaga because I'm going to be wanting to buff consistently while leading up to the burst phase, right? So there's no reason to buff right now. I activate Pride here. This took a lot of runs that I had to reset for to get the right crits and black flashes and all that stuff. So now I start buffing on turn 4. So we have 1 buff of each now. And then now we'll have 2 buffs. And then the boss ulting like Akuganji here is going to get him low enough that you'll see right there. You see how I got that C-Tech P-Tech increase? That's because he did fall below 70% HP. And because it's a 4-turn buff, that means if I break the boss on this turn, I'll have 3 more turns of the buff throughout the entire debuff window. So that's what I do here. I also have 3 buffs of Nanami and Yaga up, so that everyone's being full buff throughout the entire fight here. 1 more round of buffs. So now, instead of buffing again, what actually ended up adding more to my score was I activated Pride, and I got a 2-stack Pride skill 3 off. And then I also got Nanami skill 3 off, because it turns out that rather than having another self buff, using his skill 3 here actually gave me a higher score, if it black flashed. Which you'll see that it does here. I had to reset for it, obviously, but this is the run that worked out. So you get a double Pride stacked skill 3 from Yaga, and then a black flash skill 3 from Nanami, which does a good amount of damage. And then this ult, obviously you had to reset for it to black flash for max damage, but if you got that skill 3 black flash, then this one is pretty much guaranteed to also black flash because it increases his black flash rate. And that was it. After that, you just kill the boss because the points are the same. And I ended up with my final score at 38.01 million. So I'm going to note that up here. highest score, or my score, I guess. So, as per the rules, if anyone is able to beat that score, they're going to receive $20. Even if no one beats it, the first place score will receive $10, and the second place will also receive $5. So let's get into it. I'm excited to see what you guys did. Oh wow. So he ran a very similar strat to me, it looks like. With Skies Connected, Live a Long Life, and then yeah, Pride, this Recollection, and then I guess he didn't use the one that I used, the Mountain Range one, but he did use Death by Wasp, which is fine. See skills, level 9, mine was level 10. Oh yeah, his ult and his skill 3 are both higher than my Nanamis. So if he actually did the same rotation, then this team comp has a good chance of doing more damage than mine did, or getting a higher score than mine did. So let's see. See his rotation. Looks like his Sake is pretty high HP, so this is gonna take a while. Okay, we start Pride stacking on turn 5, understandable. Okay. Oh, okay, I like it. I think he's trying to maximize the damage dealt buff from the Recollection, because it also gives you a little bit extra damage if you have more than 50 cursed energy. So I think that's why he's conserving one of Nanami's buffs there. Okay, and let's see if he did the skill 3, skill 3. Nice. Okay, so skill 3 on Nanami there would have been better, but still, this is okay. So this does give him the extra 20% buff on the ult, on Nanami's ult. Wow, that is good damage. Yeah, so even though his did a lot more damage than mine, because he didn't use the skill 3 on the second debuff window turn, his score is not going to be as high as mine. It'll end up being around 35 million. Still a solid score, but yeah, if you had used Nanami's skill 3 there instead, you would have gotten a higher score. But this is still very solid, so I'll mark that as our first place so far. Alex, and then the score to beat is 35.25 mil. Okay. Next we have Ya. I don't know who this is. Oh. Oh, okay. I guess it's someone that doesn't really talk much, but that's okay. Let's see. Okay, using Death by Wasp, Skies Connected. This Recollection, good choice again on Nanami. This one, it will make Nanami do more damage, but in this kind of scenario, you'd probably want another damage dealing one on him instead to make him do more damage, so that it adds more to your score, because he's also a pretty solid contributor in this situation. But I didn't try this, so maybe it does outscore mine. I'm not sure, but I don't think that would be the case. Let's see his lead up. Okay, start buffing on turn 5. Okay, so here, you started buffing on the exact turn that you used your domain on Megumi to kill off the first phase, right? So it's not bad, you know, but what happens if you do that is during turns 1 and 2 of the debuff phase, you only have one buff of Yaga and Nanami active, one or two buffs active, right? And so your Domain Megumi and Gakuganji are not doing as much damage as they could be doing, which does matter when it comes to the score. I know it's like a very small thing, but it changes your score by a pretty significant amount. And especially for a challenge like this, where you're using pretty weak units, you know, the differences between scores are going to be very low. So optimizations like that do end up mattering. Still not a bad strat or rotation. Yeah, I just went for the very standard triple buff. So this is not bad at all, but it's not going to result in the highest possible score. Yeah, as you can see, the score is significantly lower. Ends up around 28 million. But still, again, it's not bad. It's just that with score challenges, there's a lot of small optimizations that change your score quite drastically. So with this exact setup, you probably could have gotten at least around 34 million if you had done a different rotation instead. Still a good submission, so nice to see. I'm happy to see that everyone's still like they're having better rotations from the first challenge that I did. Like rotations are looking a lot better, a lot cleaner. Let's see. Okay, same setup. This one also uses perfect sync on Yaga, which again I'm fairly certain makes the damage lower, but we'll have to see. 10, yeah. Oh wow, level 10 Nanami. Oh, I hope you didn't just do this for the challenge. If you did, I'm sorry. This is not my intention. I didn't want to make you guys put chaotics into his ult or anything, but otherwise, yeah, very solid setup. And then he's using this recollection, which also gives a curse tech and P tech increase buff. Let's see when he starts buffing. He also is going to do it on turn 4. Okay. Okay, turn 5, still not. I like it. I like it. And then you can ult here. Yep, perfect. This is an ideal rotation because now we have 3 stacks of both of their buffs. And on this turn, we'll have 4 stacks of their buffs, which means that that's maximum stacks. So Gakuganji skill 3 and Domain Megumi skill 1 are doing maximum damage. Nice. Also, this positioning is actually better than mine. Domain Megumi does more damage than Gakuganji, so you should definitely put Gakuganji before Domain Megumi. So this ordering in terms of the unit placement is better than my rotation. If I did this, my score would have been a little bit higher. Nice. So here you buffed again, which is fine, but yeah, again, skill 3 on both of these guys would have ended up doing more damage overall. Or not more damage, but it would have had a higher score overall. Still a great strategy and a great rotation. I think you put a lot of thought into this, and I think it's a very good strat. Also, of course, putting Pride on Yaga would have given you a much higher score too. Oh, that is a big number though, 16.6 million. Very nice number. 33 million, yeah, not a bad score at all. Honestly, I think with the ideal rotation and proper optimization, you probably could have outscored me. You definitely could have if you had the right setup. If you copied my setup, your score would have been higher for sure. But still solid, very, very solid. Okay, so no one has beaten Alex's score yet. Let's look at Devils. Okay, slightly different here. Same thing with Live a Long Life, Skies Connected, non-standard on Yaga, and then Pride on Nanami, which is very solid. Of course, it's not as good as the other recollection, or it shouldn't be, theoretically. Maybe it is, because his ult does hybrid damage, and this is only curse tech. Maybe it does do as much damage. We'll have to see what his rotation looks like. And then this recollection again gives a little C-Tech and P-Tech boost. Okay, standard skill levels. Level 10 skill 1. We always love to see that. Make sure you guys are prioritizing his skill 1 if you do have him. Okay, now we're going to start buffing, I'm assuming. Oh, not yet. Okay. Okay. One buff. Two buffs. Good. Three buffs. Perfect. Nice. I like what I'm seeing so far. Nice. Skill 3, skill 3. Nice. 2.5 million? That is very solid. $12.4? Yeah, not bad at all. This theoretically, maybe Pride is better just because the number is so big. Yeah, maybe this was a better recollection than the one I used, because his skill 3 did more damage, and then his ult also did more damage. So this potentially, but then he didn't have it on Yaga. Yeah, let's see the final score. It's probably still a bit lower than mine. Yeah, it does end up being a bit lower, probably because Yaga didn't do as much damage, because he had non-standard instead of Pride on him. So yeah, maybe my setup does do more in this scenario. I'm not entirely sure. I would have to test it, but either way, this is a very, very solid score, and that gives him first place so far. So we're gonna have runner-up as well. Runner-up is now Alex with a score of 35.25 mil. I guess I should have been keeping track of the runner-up from the beginning, but oops, okay. It doesn't really matter now. Devil, and he's at 37.32 or 328. No. Nice, very nice. That was a pretty much perfect rotation. So yeah, this was a very good submission. Very solid. Okay. Now 30. Okay, similar setup, Pride, but then he has a perfect sync instead. Yeah, probably should have started buffing a little bit earlier, assuming he's going to ult next turn. Okay, we're ulting. Evo Fundo, let's see what he does on turn 2. Nice. I like this a lot. Skill 2 and then a double Pride stacked skill 3, which is very nice to see. So that means you lined up that curse energy very well. Okay, let's see how much damage this does. It's lagging, but that's okay. 14.4, very, very solid. 33. 35.6. Nice, that was a great score. And a great rotation too. I do like what you did. You probably would have scored a bit higher if you had put Pride on Yaga again, and then also put the new recollection on Nanami. But either way, with what you had, this was a very good rotation, and I liked it a lot. That gives you the runner-up spot. 35.624. Very nice. Alter. You don't have to apologize. That's completely fine. Nice setup. Non-standard anatomy. Non-standard is okay, but again, the problem is that his ult is hybrid, right? And this only gives C-Tech, so hybrid recollection probably would have added more damage, but it's still not a bad thing to use. Pride on Yaga is always nice to see here. So let's see, what turn did you start buffing? Turn 5. So you should have, if you're going to ult on turn 6, you should have started buffing on turn 4. So that again, when you enter the debuff window, your Megumi and Gakuganji are getting maximum buffs. As you can see, you have plenty of curse energy left over, right? So you could have afforded to buff up 1 turn earlier. Nice, skill 3, skill 3. Nice. I really love that a lot of you guys figured out this optimization for score. Nice, Black Flash. As you can see, 10 million damage Black Flash, right? Which is a lot lower than all the ones we've seen in the other videos, because a hybrid recollection, which gives both C-Tech and P-Tech, probably would have added more damage, or definitely would have. Or also, it looks like even Pride would have done pretty well, which it would, because it gives you a 120% buff. But I do think Pride on Yaga is still correct, and you probably should just have a hybrid recollection on Nanami instead. But still, solid strategy here. I really like what you guys did. Really good rotation. It was just a recollection setup, and then of course 1 turn of buffs that you missed at the beginning. Let's see the final score. 33.8. Really nice. Good submission. Now Dio. Nice. Pride on Yaga. I like this a lot. Pride on Yaga. Adult Time Anonymity. Very, very solid. Good levels on skills too. Yep. This has potential. This has potential to be the highest, I think. Because, yeah. I'm excited for this one. Okay, start stacking Pride. Good. Okay, this recollection he's using on Saki instead of the Live a Long Life one. The Live a Long Life gives you 10% damage dealt. This one gives everyone 10% curse technique. So it's not bad. The reason I chose Live a Long Life is because damage dealt boosts his ult fully, while cursed technique only boosts part of his ult, right? That was my reasoning at least, but it shouldn't matter too much. It doesn't change the outcome much. It's just a min-max kind of thing. Okay, we have 2 buffs now. Now we're going to ult. 3 buffs. Perfect. Perfect rotation so far. Nice. Now skill 3 would be perfect here. Nice. Nice. Okay. Perfect. Black Flash. Good. Wow. This was perfect. This is 40 million. Very, very impressive. You see where all that damage came from. So he got the... pretty standard there. This would add it. Is it in the... Oh. Level 10 Gakuganji skill 3. Yeah, okay. Level 8 ult here. Nice, yeah, this is very, very nice. Perfect rotation, completely perfect rotation, perfect recollection setup, and then perfect RNG as well with the black flashes. This is the ideal run, and he had the extra investment on his characters to make his score a bit higher, which is great. So this takes first place. Very, very nice. So highest scorer is now Dio with 40.518 million. Really nice submission. And then runner-up would be Devil at, oh, sorry, was that 37? Let me look real quick. $37.32. 37.328. Nice. Next we have J versus. Oops. Okay, really solid. Again, perfect sync is fine for increasing Nanami's damage, but having Pride on Yaga would have added more damage overall. See when he starts buffing. Turn 4, okay. So 1 buff so far. 2 buffs. And then 3 buffs, perfect. So 4 buffs. Very nice. Oh, did he use a skill 1 here? Oh, interesting. That makes him lose out on 2 self buffs during the ult phase, but maybe that's higher score. I'm not sure. I didn't try this rotation. Okay, he's just going for 3 consecutive damage dealing turns on Nanami, which is definitely not a bad idea. Let's see, so ult 12.9. Yeah, yeah, this wasn't bad. Definitely wasn't bad, but it looks like the score is a lot lower because we're missing the Nanami buffs. So yeah, it looks like in this case, probably using 1 more skill 2 during the first turn of the phase would have resulted in a higher score. But I still like the creativity. It was a really good attempt. Nice. Okay, now we move on to Rohan. Oh, interesting. Nameless Youth. This is a P-Tech recollection, so it probably won't add that much damage. He's also not using the Arasaki Live a Long Life stat, which is okay, but it does make your score a bit lower. He's using an ult gauge recollection on Domain Megumi, which you don't need in score challenges because you want to get his ult gauge up slowly anyways in order to build up your setup correctly. So you can add another damage recollection or damage boosting recollection here instead. Okay. We started buffing on turn 3, okay. Turn 4, nice. Turn 5, oh, we ulted on turn 4, okay. So again, we ulted probably 1 turn early. You probably could have waited 1 more turn to ult. We should use Skies Connected there, yep, nice. Okay, so we didn't use a skill 3, but it's okay. This is still pretty standard. And then we ult. Oh, okay. So the thing about score challenges is that there's a buff that units get when they're co-op ulting as well. There's a pretty massive P-Tech, C-Tech buff that they get. So you want to make sure you co-op with your main damage dealer. And because that's Nanami, and in a sense it's Yaga as well in this case, you want to make sure that you're co-op ulting with these 2 instead. And you just give another skill 3 of Gakuganji. You didn't have enough Chris energy for it right now, but it looks like you should have just saved up more before, and then that would have resulted in a much higher score if you had just used skill 3 on him and then ulted with these 2 instead. still 26 million, not a bad score. Also, of course, this is a P-Tech recollection, so you want to make sure you use a hybrid one on Nanami. Bruno Felipe. Oh, interesting. Okay. Non-standard, and we're using Toge instead of Gakuganji. Of course, this means that the score will probably be a lot lower because we don't have Gakuganji's debuffs, and I don't think Toge does enough damage to make up for that. But I still love the attempt. I love the creativity. So let's see how this one plays out. We start buffing on turn 2? Turn 3. Okay. Which means we're ulting on turn 5 most likely. Yep. Perfect. We don't want to use that yet. Yep. Good. Oh. We should definitely use our skill 2 there because we're not going to have enough... what do you call it? Curse energy to use skill 3 next turn. So rather than using skill 3 this turn and skill 2 next turn, you want to do one more buff and then skill 3 next turn and then ult, right? Oh, okay, also you don't want to burst on the second phase because you haven't maximized your Domain Megumi's debuffs yet. Or the second turn. You want to make sure you're doing this combo ult on the final turn of the debuff window to maximize your score, because that's when Domain Megumi applies his full 343% damage dealt taken increase. As you can see there, your Nanami's ult only did 6 million damage compared to the like 12 million it could have done. So yeah, want to make sure that you're doing that at the very end. I still love the creativity, so very solid submission and a pretty solid score. Now we look at Unk Geto's submission. He's using SSR Maki, but he's using her as a taunter that just dies because his Arasaki was too high level, so this is allowed. As long as she doesn't contribute to the score, that's completely okay. He's using Pride on Nanami, which is fine. And then this one, again, a better setup would have been Pride on Yaga and then a hybrid recollection on him, like Adult Time or the new Teen Geto recollection. But still, this is not a bad strat. Let's see, we're gonna start buffing on turn 4, it looks like. Okay. Nice. So we have only one. We should have started buffing on Yaga one turn earlier, to be honest. But this is still okay. There's no reason to save his curse energy there because he's not going to run out. Okay, so now we, yep. So ideally, we would have done skill 3 for maximum score. Nice, really solid damage, 15.8 million. Okay, good score, solid, but yeah, slight improvements would have made the score a lot higher. Now, Dash. Again, perfect setup. I like this a lot. He's using Pride on Yaga and then this new recollection on Nanami. Oh, looks like there's not that much investment into their skill 3s, which is understandable because you don't really use them in other content. But yeah, this is going to make it so that the score is definitely a lot lower. So we're using Ichichi. Okay. Start buffing on turn 4, it looks like. Oh, not on turn 4, on turn 5. Okay, so yeah, this is okay, it's understandable, but you're missing out on 2 extra rounds of Nanami and SR Yaga's buffs, on Domain Megumi and Gakuganji's damage, which does matter because it does contribute to the score, right? Okay, here also skill 3 would have resulted in a higher score. Oh, you used skill 3 there. Yeah. So skill 3 debuffs physical technique damage taken. Yaga's ulti is curse tech, and then this is hybrid, so you definitely just want to use his skill 1 instead when it comes to buffing these two. It is a fun skill to use though, so I understand. Nice, so this is like 28 million roughly. 29 million, okay, nice. Last one from Biscuit. Oh, interesting. Okay, Teen Ghetto instead of Gakuganji. And then Pride adult time setup, which is perfect. Okay, start buffing on turn 4. I like it. And then we're ulting on turn 6, I'm assuming. Oh no. Okay, turn 7, which is fine. Nice. Nice, we're using the Teen Ghetto skill 2 because Yaga's ult does curse tech, and then Teen Ghetto's ult also benefits most from the skill 2 debuffs. Yeah, so here you should have used skill 3 for maximum damage, but still this is okay. Interesting setup, I do like this, I do like what you tried here. Nice. Okay, 9.7 million. 7.1 million damage. Yeah, as you can see, because we don't have the Gakuganji debuffs, the score ends up being a lot lower, right? So that's how broken Gakuganji is. I don't think Ghetto's damage will make up for it. Yeah, definitely not. But still, this is a really a new strategy, very creative. I liked it a lot, so good submission. Okay, so this means that our highest scorer, our winner, is Dio. And he did beat my score by quite a lot, by 2.5 million in fact. So yeah, congrats Dio. I will contact you, I'll reach out to you. And then Devil as well, congrats on getting that $5. Yeah, and not a lot of people submitted, it was only like 14, but still I think this is a good amount. I think talking for any longer would have really drained my throat. So yeah, good work guys. I really appreciate the people who submitted. And if you're watching and you didn't submit, feel free to join my Discord server. I'm going to run more events in the future. And yeah, we're welcome to submit, hang out, chat. It's very bare bones for now, but people are pretty friendly and we'll slowly build up the server as we go. Yeah, I hope that was enjoyable for you guys. Bye.